Oh, hi. This week we're going to talk about renovation trends. Some investors buy apartments and just hold on to them, waiting for appreciation to help them create some profits. Other investors take a more active role in generating profit for their property. They don't want to wait or gamble on the potential of a rising market to create value for them. So they renovate their property and either sell it in the short term to reap the gains or renovate the property with the goal of holding it long term and enjoying the higher cash flow from the property. So let's look at how this actually works out for apartment investors. Now, right now, it's still early enough in 2013, so treat the 2013 numbers with a little bit of caution. It's more important to look at the longer term trend. You can see from this chart that over the last 25 years or so, the payback period has gotten longer for investors. The payback period meaning how long does it take for investors to get their renovation money back out from the higher rents that they charged. So 25 years ago, it took about 3 years to get that money out. Now, on average, it takes about 6 years to get that money out. And more recently, it's even longer than that. Now, part of the reason for that is, or most of the reason for that really, is that investors are doing a different kind of renovation today. They're putting more money into longer life type capital improvements, things like hard surfaces that are going to have a very long life. They won't have to continue to change them out every few years. So a longer payback can work in cases like that. But let's look at the relationship. Basically, you can see that renovation costs have trended up over time, so has the level of rent increases. But interestingly, renovation costs didn't really rise very rapidly between the late 1980s and about 2006. And the same for the rent increases that went along with them. Then after 2006, generally renovation costs and the rent expectations that investors had as a result of that renovation increased very dramatically. Now, some of this is probably caused by inflation. We'll take a look in a moment at it. But part of it is, again, caused by investors putting a lot more money into renovation than they used to, and they're expecting much greater returns. This has happened in the last few years because new construction in the last half dozen or dozen years has really changed the quality of finishes that is typical for apartment properties. So older properties are playing catch up, putting in hard surfaces like granite or quartz countertops, new cabinetry, in a lot of cases other hard surfaces like plank flooring in the apartments. But inflation did have some impact, as you can see basically between the late 1980s and about 2006, once you adjust for inflation, that renovation costs and the related rent increases sort of were pretty level, sort of bouncing in the $5,000 to $10,000 a unit range for renovation and the $75 to $150 a unit range for monthly rent increases. And then it jumped after that. So clearly inflation is not the major factor. It's really a change in the way investors are doing renovations and the kind of finishes that they're putting in. Now, you can take this relationship, though, between renovation costs and rent increases because they do fit pretty well, and you can basically create a forecaster that looks at how much rent increase should you expect based on what others have done for the amount of renovation that you do. So, for example, this graph was created by looking at renovation costs and the resulting rent increases for properties renovated over the past few years. And you can see that if you put about $5,000 a unit into renovation, you would expect to get a rent increase of about $160 a unit a month as a result. If you put $10,000 a unit into renovation, you'd be looking at rent increases of about $240 a month. Now, in the article that accompanies this video, we look at a couple of specific examples. We looked at the renovation of the Centerview Apartments. This is in-city Seattle property, 38 units, built in 1910. For comparison, though, we looked at a newer property as well. We looked at the renovation of the Harvard Vista apartments. This is a 20-unit property up on Capitol Hill built in 1996. So the article has details on both of these renovations as well as some other renovation advice. You'll find the article on our website at www.duprescott.com. The article is called Getting Plastered. We hope that you enjoyed this video and that you'll come back next week for another weekly apartment update.